Hello, hello. Happy Monday. Welcome back, people. Welcome back. I am Lady Wake. Lady Wake has a dual meaning. It is my name with the meaning of awakening ladies to ourselves, for the purpose of transmutation, healing, and onwardness. So, we have Letitia back with us another week. We were here last week talking about self-care, talking about accepting and asking for help as women, as mothers, as sisters, as business people, and the list goes on of the things we do. And finding balance is harder and harder all the time. So we want to continue that conversation with Letitia. I'm going to let Letitia introduce herself, and then we're going to continue that conversation. Letitia, welcome back, girl.
Thank you. Thank you again for inviting me back. Hello, everyone. For those that are mothers, I hope you all had a wonderful, wonderful Mother's Day. As Lady Wake said, my name is Letitia Malone. I am a mother. I'm a wife. I'm a fitness instructor. I'm a praise and worship leader at church. Daughter, friend,
mother again, mother
cousin,
again, mother again.
right, mother
Right.
again, yes, mother 3 times.
Yes.
I have a little bit of expertise in trying to figure out how to balance life with many roles. So
Yes.
I'll give you a little bit of what I do, and then some things in general that we can use to help balance our lives.
Okay. So I just had to pull us up on Facebook separately because my app here is not working for our messages. So guys, if you have questions, comments, whatever, you want to be on the Lady Wake page, and that's how you find us. Some of you get notifications, but if you don't, go to Lady Wake page and you can ask your questions and leave comments there. Here we go. Okay. So Letitia, thank you for being here once again. And I told y'all last week why I chose Letitia, because of course there are countless women who are doing all of these things, right? Like all of us to some degree are doing multiple things at a time, having multiple roles to fulfill and needing to get some of them right at least. Like we need to we need to have success in some of these areas, for our basic happiness in life. And so many times we are kind of forcing things through and not enjoying any of it. And that
Right.
bothers me. I don't know about y'all, but that bothers me in a pretty deep way. Like it probably should, but it really does. Even with other people, it bothers me in a deep way that you are working so hard to raise kids, so hard to build and maintain a career, to build and maintain a relationship, whether that's a romantic relationship in your home or relationships with your family, with friends, finding new friends, maintaining relationships with old friends. Sometimes that's even harder. But playing all these roles and working so hard at it, but not getting not finding contentment in it, not finding the happiness, And to me, there is no other point. There's no point. There's no point in creating families and friendships and careers and life goals and all this stuff if it's not for the point of happiness. That's the point to me. That's the only point I can see. Everything else is secondary because you can choose just as easily not to create these things in your life. You can be like, yep, I'm not going to have a family. I don't feel like doing all that work. I'm not going to have this type of career. I'm going to have something easier or something, more fun, whatever. It's an option. So since we've made these decisions, I figure we might as well have fun doing it. So a big part of that, I think, is balance. I think that's a huge issue out here. People have no balance when it comes to how to all these things in life. So Letitia, you have an amazing. Hey y'all, I see you. You have an amazing. In my opinion, it's amazing because I feel like I'm a really balanced person, but balance is a little different than organization sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And your level of organization is truly impressive. So I'm going to give you the whole ball on this one and ask that you please give us an idea of what balance looks like for you and how, you attain that as an individual with your family.
Sure. So I just want to go back to recap last week and then talk about me personally, how I apply those things that we talked about last week. So last week we talked about accepting and asking for help.
Yes.
And we also talked about applying self-care. So do I ask for help? Absolutely.
Okay.
I told you last week I'm a mother of 3 boys. The other point that I did not point out is the fact that my husband leads and runs a large not-for-profit agency, human services agency. So his schedule is very hectic. Sometimes it's not the same every day. And so my mother-in-law lives with us. And so I accept help from her a lot.
Yeah.
And so when my husband is not able to be there, and with my kids getting older and being involved in more activities, I can't be everywhere at the same time. So she definitely is a great help. And even tonight, we had an issue with my son became ill while I was teaching. And so she was able to help him, give him medicine, and take care of him while I was in class and now doing this.
Yay,
so yes,
Mom.
I accept help. It wasn't easy in the beginning, of course, because I always felt like, this is my responsibility. I'm supposed to take the burden of everything.
Right.
And while it is, they are my kids, it is my responsibility. The things that I'm doing is my responsibility. There are times where we can let go when we feel overwhelmed, when there are other people there who are here to help us. I used to have conversations with her when she first moved in, and I would say, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Jamal's going to be out of town. And she's just sitting there like, hello, I'm here. You're not losing me.
Right.
And so I had to learn it's okay, because I did not want to go overboard where I felt like, or where she felt like we were taking advantage of her. Mm-hmm. But she's like, look, they're my grandkids. I love them. I want to spend time with them. And if you need help, then ask. And if I'm able to do it, then I will help you. So, yeah, that's one. And, so yes, I'm trying to figure out how to move my chair so I'm not coming off the screen.
But now you're off the screen. At first you were on there. Just
okay. Let me, because it's a delay in when I'm moving. Okay.
There you go.
All right, here we are. So the second thing, applying self-care. One thing, with me being a fitness instructor, I have to, my classes are I'm trying to figure this out, guys, because I'm moving the opposite way.
I think you moved your computer or something.
I must have moved.
Let me scoot over.
I think I did both, and so I probably canceled it out. I apologize. So my classes, my goal for my classes is to make sure that the people who come to my classes have a good workout. Right. But in that, because I practice, because on a regular basis I teach twice a week and sometimes more if I'm subbing or doing something at Lifetime, my body has gotten adjusted and used to the exercises that I'm doing. So in order to build myself up and to feed myself, I have to go to other classes, take more strength classes because I teach a cardio class, so that I can build myself up so I can still give as much as I can to those who come to my classes. Right. Also, one thing I do, massages. that work, that helps for me being a fitness instructor, but also you don't have to be, taking away the stress, taking away the tension that we hold in our shoulders all the time, even as mothers, as women, as, people who have responsibilities, a nice, relaxing, quiet massage. They have those rooms quiet and playing relaxing music for a reason. And it is to set the mood, to get you into a position to just take away or not think about any of the problems that's going on or things that may be causing you hurt or pain at that time. So that's definitely something that I use as for self-care. And then leading on to the next subject, one thing that I do to help make sure that I have self-care is put it in my schedule. So the next topic is adjusting schedules. Yes. So I'm going to start off by
I'm
talking
taking
about what I
all the
do on a
notes.
weekly basis, on a daily and weekly basis, and then I'll speak in general because I know everything that may work for me may not work for everybody else because I'm a very detailed person and I know everybody is not like that. So what do? I have a planner, Michael 365 planner that I
That's a big
use.
planner.
It is a big planner.
This is my
That I
planner.
use. And I also use my phone. But I use it for, it has a monthly view, it has a weekly view, and then in the weekly view, it breaks it down by time. Like I said, this is not something, everybody don't have to be that detailed, but it helps for me with everything that's involved. So when my husband's out of town, when my kids have an activity, when I teach classes, whatever is going on, I'm able to see and manage so that I can see, okay, can anything be added to this? When can I have breathing room if there's a lot going on? So what I on a weekly basis, I try to do it on Sunday nights, but sometimes it's Monday mornings. I go through, sit down, write in pencil what things are going on during the week. I also put my workout schedule. So the things that my classes that I teach, as well as I said, the classes that I go to kind of hold myself accountable and say, this is what my plan is. This is what my goal is, to go ahead and work on myself. And so other things can be incorporated in there too. You want to schedule a massage, put that in there, see what's going on in your weekly schedule and be able to add those things that are self-care. Another thing that I put in that I try to do, don't always get done ahead of time, is put the weekly menu. We try to have a healthy lifestyle. It doesn't always work out. Okay. But what I found is when I have busy schedules, it's, I come home, I got to fix dinner. It's, it's easy to go in the refrigerator and fix something unhealthy. Chicken nuggets. We can't have chicken nuggets every day, or something really that's quick. Right. So it helps me when I'm able to do that. It helps me with grocery shopping. I'll go grocery shopping and do based off what I'm planning to do. Or sometimes I just grocery shop off of sales and then, okay, that's what we're having for dinner, what was on sale. But doing something like that gives you freedom to be able to try other things. I go to Pinterest to get recipes. We have a board in the kitchen where I keep the grocery list, and I ask for dinner requests so the kids and my husband can write down, can we have such and such this today? Now I get to decide when we eat it, but it at least frees me up with having to decide every day what we're going to eat. So I utilize that to kind of help me plan out the dinner menu. And then also my to-do list. So I have things that I do every week: paying bills, working on the calendar, grocery shopping, that I have, my daily or weekly things. And then I have my to-do list, making doctor's appointments, those things that I need to do that's not a constant listed in here. So this planner is a lifesaver. Everything is laid out. And for me, the type of person that I am, where it's better for me to be able to see things. It works for me to help keep that balance and understand. But one thing to note, as I stated before, it's in pencil. And that's one thing I had to learn because I am a planning person. I used to go down to the 15-minute increment. I had to learn to get away from that, because what happens is when I get a phone call, like I did today, your son is sick, I didn't know how to adjust to take care of that and handle that. So that's one thing I think we need to do, learn how to be flexible and adjust and understand, but give us also freedom to give ourselves freedom to not have it all together. It's okay. Everything that's in my planner doesn't necessarily happen. Right. I don't always get a chance to do that weekly menu. Right. It's okay. But I at least have that framework in place that I try to keep on a regular basis, so that if something comes in and I have to adjust, or if I don't get to what I wanted to get to, I'm okay. I can, start over again the next day or try to get back in line.
Yeah.
So that's what I do.
That's a big deal. And I'm going to piggyback off that because the schedule is a huge deal. And I don't know if I'm the opposite person than you. I'm not like I'm not disorganized, but I'm somewhere in the middle. Like I'm I'm too cool for most people. Like, oh, aren't you worried about this? I'm like, no, why? I'm just like, I don't care enough about that many things to put it like that, right? Like that would stress me out. Your level of planning would stress me out. However,
I understand.
Knowing who you are and what your strengths and weaknesses are is huge to something like this, to planning, to scheduling. Because for your sanity, you have to have your planning to a certain detail. And for my sanity, I cannot have my planning to a certain detail.
Right.
But as long as it's okay. So I use my phone every single day. My schedule, my calendar, like yours, the monthly calendar, weekly, I have it by day. Everything that's going on, and it's all together. So from morning to night, if it's work, if I have a meeting, if I have a lunch schedule, if I have I have to run to the cleaners in between, that's on my calendar. When I go to the gym, if I'm going to the gym that day, whatever. So if one day is overloaded, I try to not have too many days like that in a row.
Right.
Balance it out for myself because I can't, like, I'm not a running type of person, so I need to rest. So I make sure I build rest into my calendar. Rest.
Right. Yes.
Massage.
Yes.
Bath.
Yes.
Watch Netflix. Yep. Like, it's in my calendar. Do nothing. So that's a huge deal, and it works so well, like to the T. Even dates are in my calendar, and I know you're married, and I don't know how y'all do that. I'm single, but still, if I'm going out on a date, I have to schedule it. It has to be in my calendar, working fluidly around everything else I do. Even my dates with my child, our dates together with other kids and their parents, play dates and anything in the calendar. Anything I care about, I should put it that way. Anything I really care about, anything that's really important to me. If it's like, it's probably not going to end up in my calendar, and then honestly, it's probably not going to get done.
Not get done, right? Exactly.
So that's me. But anyway, go ahead.
And that's the thing, to learn what works best for you. This is a good example, that we're different people, and I use my phone as well because I don't take my planner everywhere with me. So everything is also in my phone, but it just helps for me to have it laid out and written in front of me. So so that's definitely figure out what works best for you and do that. But there were some things in general that I thought that we should think about when looking at our schedules, whatever it is, however we monitor it or keep it. But the things that we need to think about when figuring out what should be a part of our schedule or our daily lives.
Yes.
So.
Really?
So one thing I think is the most important question is, what are your priorities?
Yes.
So your family, your friends, your job, your, whatever it may be, because what you should be doing in life should mirror what you say your priorities are. So when we do things and decide to do all, the A, B, and C, and, we say the most important thing is to spend time with our children, but we never do that where it's quality. And when I say that, I don't want people to confuse that with quantity, that we're all day, every day that we're doing this, but that when we are, it's quality. Right. It's not just there sitting on a device and we're on a device doing something else, because that's, that may be quantity, but that's not quality. That's not quality. Yeah. So, looking at making a list and, having that at the forefront to understand what it is that's the most important to you. And then after that, in looking at your schedule, I think there are a couple questions we can ask ourselves when somebody's asking us to do something. Number one, does it benefit me or my family? Or the things that are most important to me? Yeah. It could be yes or no. Now, it doesn't stop there. If it's no, The next thing is, does it benefit others positively? Because we have in our lives people that may not be a part of our family or may not be in the top priority, but that things that we're passionate about, our missions, our ministry, our passion. And so those, I would say that falls in line in there. And then as we talked about last week with accepting help, there's a flip side of that. Get offering help as well. So that, I think that falls in line. If we're in a position where we have people around us who we care about, it should not just be a one-way street. I know we talked about last week the tit for tat, and I'm not saying we should be, keeping score. Oh, I helped you last week, so you can help me this week. But we can. It is noticeable when it's always just one-sided.
Yes, absolutely.
So we definitely want to be in a position to offer that help to those that we care about as well. So I think that, but those that we care about, not just what we're passionate about. So if it's no for both of those things, then you have to question, is it a part of what I say is the priority in my life, the things that I care about? Should I be doing this? Now, depending on what it is, you could still say yes, I can still do whatever it is. And this is it's a wide range of what it could be. But there should be a question of should I? But if it's yes to either one, then can the timing be adjusted? Looking at what I'm doing, everything doesn't always have to be done now. It could be, I can't do it right now. I want to, I really want to do this. I have this desire, but we may need to adjust this. And there was a very real example that we can share right now. Crescenda and I, or Lady Wake and I, had a conversation about an hour and a half before this call saying, considering whether we needed to reschedule this because I didn't know how sick my son was and I was on my way home. So this is something that I did want to do, that I told her that I committed myself to, but I had to understand that I had to make sure that my son was okay, and that, I would have been sorry, but we might have had to reschedule in that instant. But we were able to work it out. So I'm glad about that. But that's a present or, real example of, even if you're committed to something, understanding those priorities. And as we said, being flexible and being able to adjust your schedule to meet what you say your priorities are.
What you say your priorities are, not what other people
what you say your other, yes, yes, what you say your priorities are. Yes.
Yes.
So,
I really do, because everybody's priorities are different. And sometimes you run into a situation where you have your set of priorities, but your partner's priorities look different and your kids' priorities look different and your people at your job priorities. Like, everybody has their own priorities. And so not only is it important to look at what your priorities are while you're doing your scheduling or agreeing or disagreeing to things, but make sure you're agreeing and or disagreeing based on your priorities, not everybody else's. There's no way to please everybody. It's impossible. And it's a lot of energy that, it just goes to waste. There's no point.
Yeah.
So just make sure that you decide what they are, and then decide yes or no based on yours, not your kids. I know they want to go to Great America so bad, but today is spring cleaning day. They'll be all right. It's your priorities. You know what's best for you. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, and as you made your point reminded me something. You say yes or no. It's okay to say no sometimes when it does not fit that. It's okay to say no, even if it's something good. I know sometimes we want to be involved. We want to participate. We want to, we're given an opportunity that we feel is a really good opportunity. But sometimes if it does not fit in that plan, we can say no sometimes. And as I said, it could be, okay, I would like to do that. I can't do it right now. I would like to, can we do it at another time? But just understanding that it's okay to say no.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people don't.
So that was it as far as adjusting schedules. I don't know if there's anything you wanted to add, but just to recap, defining your priorities and asking those questions when people are asking you to add something to your schedule that takes away from what you may normally do or what you say, spending time with your family or you being able to have that time for that self-care. Putting it to these questions and seeing if that's something that I should continue to do or if it's something I should say no to or wait or, whatever it is.
Right. And make sure you're doing the only other thing I'll add, make sure you're doing some things that you want to do, you really want to do. They might not benefit anybody else, but it's just something you want to do. Like, I just want to take myself out to dinner this week. That's what I want to do. It's going to make me happy. That's important. It's important to serve you in addition to
and I think that goes with the first one, what benefits me or my family. Now, we may want to separate that. First benefit
Sometimes
me.
we have to, depends on the thing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So the last topic, and just presenting it, people may be like, okay, what does that have to do with balance? But I think balance is not just, achieved through things that we do. I think it's also achieved in our whole selves.
Right.
And so one thing that I think that stops people from being balanced is broken relationships and past hurts. So the last thing is apologizing and offering forgiveness to those who have hurt us. Now, I know this is a big thing. And I know that we have heard many times over how important it is for us to be able to move forward from past hurts. But the first thing I want to talk about is apologizing, because what happens is when we are on the hurting side, sometimes it's knowing, sometimes it's not, but we may be in a situation where we feel, well, I was right, so I don't need to apologize because I was right.
Yeah.
But whether you were right or not, in knowing that someone's feelings got hurt, and especially if they are in your that list of priorities, those people that are special to you, there are so many people that are not talking to their parents, they're not talking to their siblings because of something that may have hurt somebody's feelings. And so, number one, I would say for complete wholeness, healing, and balance, we need to rekindle those relationships in those instances where we have hurt somebody. We need to show that we love the person that we say that we love. We need to show that we care about those people who are the most important to us. And when we do something, and, when I say unknowingly hurt, I think, sometimes it's hard for us to determine, like, okay, if I don't know I hurt them, how am I supposed to apologize? But, for those people that are close to us, we understand if we used to talk to them a lot and we don't talk to them as much anymore, or there's a different reaction when we're around them, we can kind of go back and say, oh, you know what, that conversation that we must have had, I think something changed after that. So, just, thinking about those situations and those relationships, I think it's very important because, when we hold on to things like that, it hurts us. And even more so on the flip side, when we hold on to things where people have hurt us. Whether you receive an apology or not, offering that forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for you. Because the more that you hold on to things, we talked last week about not trusting people because of fear, because of past experiences. Right. So you holding on to something because somebody hurt you is separating you from moving forward, maybe trusting somebody else, right. Whether it's a relationship, whether it's, trusting someone to, just a friendship, whatever it may be, it kind of blocks you from moving forward, in several different ways. And now, understanding that offering forgiveness to somebody is not necessarily saying that we're going to go back to having a relationship. So separate these. When I say, fulfilling or rekindling broken relationships, that was with people that you care about, that you should have a relationship with, where you may have hurt somebody and you need to offer an apology. Now, if someone has hurt you, you apologizing or you accepting or forgiving them is not necessarily saying that we're going to continue being friends or we're going to continue being, lovers or whatever the situation may be.
Right.
You can say, I forgive you for hurting me, but we're not, I'm moving on. We're no longer going to continue in this way, whatever it is that we were doing, whatever situation it may have been. And I understand
that's what's best. And I'm sorry to cut you off,
yes, of course, if that's what's best.
Because oftentimes I find that people find it easier, of course, to say, I'll let this ride, I'll forgive you, I'll let this ride. But when it's the other way around and they're the ones needing to apologize and wanting somebody to forgive them, they're really hoping to be taken back. Like, I'm really hoping to rekindle this. I'm really hoping to be forgiven. I'm really hoping that we can move past it. But don't give the other person who has offended them the same, dare I say, mercy. Grace, and so it's important to hear Letitia say, either whichever end you're on, you need to make sure you're making the decision that's right for you for that specific situation.
Yeah.
That's it. Because I know people take what they want to hear, and I just like to always reiterate is not always easy, but we need both sides.
Yes.
Equally, to some, to the degree that it can be.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And that's the thing, that's a note that I had. It's a hard process, but I think in the end, it's good. It's awesome to work towards, to have something, that weight lifted off of us, and things that, to think about, it's worth it. Some things that we value most in life are the things that we worked for. Yes. And so just something that I thought about in making that note is, we talked last week about, looking at other people's lives and seeing where they are. And, even, talking about where it looked like for me that I had this balance, but one thing that we don't know is what each individual person had to go through to get to where they are. What circumstances, what troubles, what burdens that they had to go to, because you have to have the character to get to a certain level. You have to be able to handle the things at a certain level. A person that, a child cannot handle the responsibility of a parent. They're not mature enough yet. So at each stage and at each level, understanding that there is a process for it, and we need to go through that process. So I wanted to make sure that when we are living, it's not, we may be looking at others, but we're not comparing our life to others, because we have our calling, what we are supposed to be doing. And everybody else has their own. So, we may be looking at somebody and saying, what they look like they have or whatever. But like I said, the burden that got them to where they are may not be where you're supposed to be at that point in time.
Might not be something you're willing to go through.
Right. Exactly. Yes. So it's the process. And I think, this is a part of that process. Like I said, it's a hard process, but if it's worth it to have that balance, we say we want to have that balance, not just on our schedules, because you can have your schedule together. You can apply your self-care and ask for help, but you're holding on to something that is hurting you from moving forward in your life, that's not complete balance.
Right.
So that's why I felt like this was a big part of the conversation of balance and needing to be able to move forward ourselves as whole people. And as Lady Wake said, you defining what that means to you, not letting others define that for you. And in saying, if, me forgiving you means ending the relationship, that is what I'm offering you. I'm offering you forgiveness, and then I'm moving forward. Not letting the other people say, well, I apologize. I want you to take me back. But you deciding that and what's best for you.
Yeah.
So
I'm really happy you brought that up. Thank you for that. Because everything else we talked about, I would put them in the kind of remedy categories, they will help you remedy something that's gone awry. But that piece about forgiveness, giving and receiving, is the core of a lot of the stuff that we have to remedy later down the road. So
exactly.
It's a huge deal. If you are in pain and unforgiveness, you're less likely to ask for help, right? We talked about that last time, because you're more likely to be in fear. You're less likely to actually put your priorities or include yourself in your priorities. Put it that way. Less likely to include yourself in your priorities. I'm hearing bag lady, Badu, bag lady. You go hurt your back. Usually, it's like that. Exactly. The stress will kill you. And another thing is, if you're paying attention at all to your life, to your surroundings, to your day to day, if you're paying attention, you will notice if you are I'll say you'll notice if you come into contact with somebody who is intuitive, who is a self thinker, who's not caught up in this what I call zombie apocalypse out here, not focused on everything but themselves. Somebody who is self focused. If you ever run into somebody like that and they kind of look at you like, you okay, boo? Like, you shouldn't be this stressed out. You shouldn't. You shouldn't, because people, energies from outside of you can feel your energy. So people feel it. So if you got somebody connected with you, y'all automatically buddy, I should do this. You buddy automatically, but they full of mess and they messy and they gossipy and they always got some drama. That says something about you. And usually that's rooted in pain and fear.
Yeah.
And law of attraction is law of attraction. There's nothing to disprove it to date. So if you're running into somebody and they're more of a positive person and, ain't nobody got everything together, but maybe they're on their way. They're all right. Their priorities are fun for them or produce some type of contentment and happiness, then maybe your energies are linked because you're on your way too. So it's good to pay attention to who you're linking up with, who you're attracting.
Yes.
Just in the regular world, in your everyday life, because it makes a difference. It doesn't make a difference. It helps you see where you are. And if your priorities feel like obligations, something needs to change.
Yeah.
Something needs to change quickly, and is usually the core, because like I said earlier, every single thing you have going on in your life, you chose. You chose to have a family. You chose to have a relationship. You chose to have that job. You chose to drive that car. You chose to do whatever you do on a daily basis. So you're choosing to do these things. They shouldn't feel like obligations. They should bring some type of happiness, success, contentment to your life. Some type of elevation, even if you're just, learning right now. That's okay. Your purpose should be clear. And it should bring some contentment.
Yeah. And that just made me think of something. If you're at a point where the things in your life or your priorities are feeling like obligations, then you need to take a step back and figure out why. What is there? Absolutely. Is there something in me that needs to change? Is there something on this list that needs to change? Mm-hmm. Am I doing too much? Do I need to cut it down so that I can focus on a small amount of things and feel like I am giving, and then maybe expand later?
Yes.
So yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. I completely agree. And if you got kids, they're generally pretty clear. and letting you know when you're not focused. They're like, hey, you're not paying attention to me. Hello. That's what my child does anyway, but
Right.
so that's my experience. So listen, y'all. I hope you got something out of this, and more than the surface self-care, but how to start from the inside out, for complete balance, as Letitia put it. It makes a big difference. It makes a big difference. And the great thing is up to you. So it's within your power. You have the option to do it or not do it, or to what degree you do it. So I just encourage you all to harness your power and use it for your own success and happiness. Letitia, do you have any closing remarks? And I must say, sorry, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, you're welcome.
Like, truly, this has been a pleasure. Thank you. I really appreciate you being here. And Letitia came like, oh, I got notes on notes on notes. This is what we got to tell the people. I love that in you. Honestly, I do. Thank you. And I think this was good information. So, Letitia, do you have any closing remarks?
You know what? There is a song. I wanted to let you listen to it before, but we did not get that opportunity, so I hope you don't mind. It's just a snippet of a song that I thought was appropriate in this last topic. It's called Too Hard Not To. So if you don't mind, I want to play just a little snippet of it. I got to make sure you can hear. Okay, can you hear? I'm trying to put it in the microphone. Mm-hmm. Can you hear it?
Mm-hmm. Maybe you feel entitled, 'cause this should have never, ever happened to you. And maybe you've tried to let it go, but letting go just ain't never easy to do. Maybe you feel you'll end up with another broken heart, trying to face something that seems way too hard. But it's too hard to hold on to all of the pain, and it's too hard to relive it over and over again. It's too hard when the memories have control over you. Some say it's too hard to forgive. I say it's too hard not to.
I love it.
It's too hard not to.
It's too hard not to forgive.
It's too hard not to.
I love that. I love that. That is so real. And she said, it's hard to relive it over and over again.
Exactly.
Because every time you think about it, every time you decide against something or decide for something because of it, based on fear, based on that trauma, you're just doing it all over again. Allowing it to control you. I love that.
Exactly.
I love that.
Well, I just wanted to leave that with you all. Hopefully that encouraged for someone who may have been listening but thinking they don't know what I've been through, though. Mm-hmm. They don't know how hard it is for me. Right. I just wanted to leave that with you. It's too hard not to forgive. It's too hard not to let it go and move forward and let yourself heal and continue on and move forward in life.
Yes, it's too hard not to try. I love it. Now, who sings that song?
That's Tina Campbell.
Okay.
From Mary Mary.
Tina Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Letitia. That's awesome.
You're welcome.
This has been awesome. We might have to find a reason to bring you back here. I like it. I like it. But you all, this will be on replay here. If you have questions or comments later, feel free. Letitia can see it too. So if you have direct questions, don't hesitate to ask. And that's it for this part of the series, but we'll be back here next Monday. I think I'll be back here by myself next Monday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we'll see what we're dealing with. Until then, y'all, thank you again, Letitia. You rock.
You're welcome. Have a good week.
Yes. Peace, y'all.